And I will never forget that cry. It shattered through the entire sanctuary. And then they started calling more names. And all the names were from Monroe's class.
Oh, wow.
And it was just one after another. And I thought, this is it. This is it.
Mm-hmm. What's up, everybody? It's Isiah, and welcome to the I Live Now show. Y'all, today I have a couple here who is about to change your life. And it's also a conversation that we must have for us to affect change in the world. So today, I want to introduce you, Aaron and Mary Joyce. How are y'all doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
It's great to be seen, absolutely. First of all, thank you all so much for saying yes to this interview, because I know it probably could be hard to talk about what we're going to talk about today. But I feel like it's one of those things that needs to be talked about in order to affect change in the world. And so I just wanted to first start off with the question, because your daughter was one of the children at the Covenant School where there was a mass shooting.
March 27, 2023, a day now ingrained in the minds of Nashville residents after 3 children and 3 adults were killed when a shooter opened fire at the Covenant School in Green Hills.
And so just kind of tell us, like, what happened on March 27, 2023?
So I'll go.
Yeah.
March 27th was beautiful. It was a sunny day, just like today.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a cloud in the sky. And he dropped the kids off. I finished up a workout and checked my phone, and it was just buzzing because I'm on a group thread with a bunch of moms in 3rd grade, and we were talking about what to send to school with our kids for a play that Friday. And I got ready, went to work, and we sat down with 2 new employees. And in that meeting, my phone was still going off. And I picked it up to put it on silent. And I saw the worst text any parent wants to ever get.
Yeah.
And it said, "There's an active shooter at our school." And at first, we didn't even believe it.
Yeah, it didn't seem real.
Yeah.
And then everything just happened so fast after that. I just remember getting up, and we ran to your truck.
Yeah.
And I was screaming at you to drive faster and faster to get to school, because that's the only thing we could think of was we have to go get our daughter.
Yeah.
And we...
On the way there, texts were coming in. So it went from there's no way this is real.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, to it was becoming more and more real as information is coming to us on our way to school. So I think we were on Hobbs Road from Charlotte when it hit me like, oh my gosh, this is real. Please don't let it be our daughter. I remember it was the first time it kind of hit me, just kind of listening to the information that was coming from Mary and her phone.
Yeah, and you're just thinking in your head as a parent, like, praying to God that your daughter and that your child is alive, and that they're okay, and that everyone's okay. And we're a very small school, but we're very tight-knit. There's roughly 200 students. We're kind of tucked away in a nice part of town, and naively we thought this could never happen to our school. We're a Christian school. We're an elementary school, and
it's just such an idealistic little place to have your kids go in and out of every day that it's like, wait, what? It didn't seem...
So when we got to the intersection of the main thoroughfare, which is Hillsborough, everything was blocked off. And there were so many police officers. And I remember, I don't even know if you stopped your truck, but I swung open that door and just started running up Hillsborough in the middle of the road. And he starts running after me, and we're both just running as fast as we can to get to our school. And a police officer on a motorcycle ran up next to us and said, you cannot go up there. And I said, our daughter is in that school. We're getting our daughter. And he said, you have to go to another location. It was a church down the street to the reunification site.
Yeah.
And then we just turned around and we started running down the street, and a complete stranger pulls up in this black SUV, swings open the back door and says, "Do you need a ride? Get in." And we get in, and she orders her son, who's sitting in the front seat, to grab the Bible and start reading scripture.
Jesus.
And she grabs my hand with a mama grip. And I'm grabbing Aaron's, and then the daughter-in-law is in the back seat, and they're praying over us.
Yeah.
And she drives like no driver I've ever, like it was out of a movie.
It was like a movie. It turned into a movie in that moment. Like,
she was driving on the sidewalk, she was honking her horn, she was driving on the wrong side of the road. She was gonna get us to that church, and she did. And meanwhile, we didn't realize, we left the truck in the middle of the road, doors open, still running, keys in the ignition, my purse was on the front seat, and we didn't care. We just wanted to get our daughter.
Right.
And we get to the church, and we waited for hours. And I was crumbling in those church pews.
but I had a different experience.
Because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then they started calling family names. And I remember they went to, you saw like a group of officers go to the back of the church. And then you just hear this, it was like a primal cry. And they had just told a family that their loved one was gone. And I will never forget that cry. It shattered through the entire sanctuary. And then they started calling more names. And all the names were from Monroe's class.
Oh, wow.
And it was just one after another. And I thought, this is it. This is it. It's her class. It's not only her school, we know that, but it's her class. And those are my friends, and those are her friends, and these are their babies. And you feel an instant guilt when they don't call your name, but they've called your friend sitting right next to you, and you knew why they were calling you. And so we reunified with her, and when we picked her up, remember how wide her eyes were?
Yeah, she was in complete shock.
They were huge. She almost looked like a cartoon character.
Wow.
She was still in a completely different state. And later we learned who all was killed. And we got her home. She just wanted to snuggle with us. And so
She was 9 that day, right? So
that's all we wanted to
little
do.
girl.
Yeah.
And so we made the decision as a family not to tell her that day what happened. With her friends and her teachers.
Whoa.
But the next day, there was a meetup. It was a secret meetup because we saw how much publicity was around the reunification site, and no one wanted to be, we just weren't ready to be in front of any cameras. We weren't interested. We were just, when something like that happens, you feel like you were absolutely drowning underwater. You're screaming at the top of your lungs and no one can hear you. And it's the worst feeling because it feels very suffocating. And then you look at your child and you think, what did you walk away from?
Yeah.
What did you see? What did you hear? And you don't know. And as a parent, we do everything to control their environment as much as we can to make sure they're safe and they're taken care of. And you feel totally out of control when someone goes into your child's school and just starts shooting.
Yeah. Like how did the shooter end up in Monroe's class? Like out of all of the classes, like was it just like how?
Well, honestly, like she said, we kind of made a decision as a family not to talk about it. So for months, I'd never asked Monroe about it. So the way I found out the events was Monroe said, "Daddy, do you want to know what happened that day?" And that was probably, I want to say 6 months later. We were running errands, and I said, "Do you want to talk about it?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll tell you." And she told me. And so the initial shots being fired, they thought were construction hammers, but then the fire alarm went out. So the third graders were in an area of the school where they were far enough away that it wasn't quite apparent those were shots yet. They lined up for the fire drill and started to go out of the building the way they were supposed to. And so the first few kids were in the stairwell on their way down, and she swung open a door and started coming up. That's where she ran into their class, the third
shooter.
graders. And then from there, they took off running back into their classroom, and unfortunately, 3 of them didn't make it back in. So she chased them.
Back into their classroom.
Yeah, from the stairwell in the hallway and then into the classroom. And
she reloaded and then stood outside of their classroom doors
and assaulted them from
and
there.
just started shooting into their classroom.
Was it 97 rounds? Is that right, or something? It was
I don't.
90 some odd rounds.
It was
into
a.
the classroom.
I think that was like the total in building, but it was a lot into their class. It was enough to fill their entire classroom with smoke. It was enough to shatter desks and water bottles and sweatshirts and snacks and homework notebooks, all the bulletin boards. It broke the glass in their classroom, and that glass and shrapnel is flying around these children as they hide under desks and crouch in corners. And some of them were having trouble breathing. Their teacher, meanwhile, was shaking so bad, but she was an absolute hero.
Yeah.
She closed that door, she locked it so fast, and she instructed the kids very clearly, shh, quiet, hide.
Yeah.
She kept those kids safe. Monroe said when they heard the shots, they were just lining up for a fire drill, like they can do in their sleep.
Yeah.
And she said, Mommy, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what to do. So she got under the table right in front of the door, because that's where they all were. And she didn't know where to go. And she just tried to be as quiet and as still as possible. And I said, well, we learned her teacher was shaking so bad, she couldn't even pull down this Velcro strap to like cover the window. And so the window was completely exposed into their classroom.
From the door.
So the shooter, when she was shooting into their classrooms, could see straight into their classroom. And so that also allowed for the kids to then see her. So Monroe saw the face of her friend's killer. And a person that wanted to kill all of them.
She was yelling profanities
She
at them
was screaming at them
and it was
taunting them. And we have learned that is what keeps her up at night. She can't go to certain places without feeling uncomfortable.
Sure.
So we are now 2.5 years since that day.
Yeah.
And she has just started to sleep in her own bed, but she still ends up back downstairs in our bed. Because when it's still and it's quiet at night, those nightmares start happening.
Yeah.
She can't get beyond. How do you put back the pieces of your child that you don't know are missing?
Yeah.
How do you repair that?
And even for us, life goes on and we kind of forget. And then it's like, oh yeah, but we get reminded because in moments she'll be in complete terror and drop to the floor in a panic attack. It's happened 3 times this year again. A balloon popping, a neighbor outside with a flashlight, and something else that scared her. And fireworks on the 4th of July. And she is not there. She's in a panicked place, reliving what she went through 2 years ago. And it's like, whoa. And at first, it's like, Ro, get up. And then you realize what she's going through again. And it's, okay, let's get her back here. Let's get her breathing. So it's far from over for us.
Yeah.
I describe it that we are in the trenches of trauma still. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long we're going to be here.
For sure. Because I was going to ask, like, that's kind of like an extreme case of PTSD.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Like what war people
Absolutely.
probably are going through, because it replays in their mind as if it's like really. So like, what have you all, like the help that you all have been given, right, to kind of help with that? Like, what are the steps for that?
I mean, initially, you walk around doing life, trying to figure out what are you supposed to do. You see people walking their dogs, and it feels like you're walking around in a fishbowl, and no one can see you, and no one has no idea what happened, and you just want to scream still. Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened at our child's school? Do you know what can happen right now in your child's school, or in the grocery store, or in a building? Like, it can happen right now.
Yeah.
And so we were very blessed as a community, and as a city. Nashville's a great city, right? We have this mentality that we will stick together and we will rally around each other. And so we were very blessed to have so many communities rally around us and say, we've got you.
Yeah.
And we had someone very generously give therapy to all of the parents. We're a private school, so we are fully self-funded.
Yeah.
We had someone else gift therapy to all the children. And as far as therapy goes, we have had, I think, every type of therapy you could try for Monroe.
It's just beginning, right? Like the therapies are there, but it's what we're realizing is, I mean, for me at least, year one was get through it.
Yeah.
2024, right? I'm like, here we go. This is going to be the best year ever. But those traumas ripple into the future, and the impact of the family started the following year. Really, it was like holding it together, and then when you can't, you let it fall apart, and it falls apart fairly rapidly and really big. And at the same time, you go, okay. Honestly, I think the answer to your question is day to day.
Yeah.
Right? One day at a time.
Yeah.
You have to understand the blessings you've been given. You have to live with gratitude. And the truth is, before that day, I was trying to figure that out and couldn't, right?
Yeah.
And luckily, I really feel like the journey, as bad as it has been, this has sent us on, has helped us learn to focus on everything we have.
Yeah, that's so good. Because like, Aaron, like just hearing from you as a father, like whose baby girl went through that, like what was going through your head? And also like being a protector, like what's going through your head now? So like kind of walk us through like then and now as a father.
You know, it's funny because this little group of kids, they've been through COVID, right? Which was, I believe, kindergarten or first grade for them. So we met most of our friends in the community at Covenant with masks on. And so we were just starting to get our bearings with, okay, who are these people? And then this happens. And so for them to experience that as children, I mean, if kids are resilient, these are going to be the toughest group of kids ever.
Yeah.
But there's two things that came out of it that have just been a blessing for me. The first is I was realizing I didn't have a deep relationship with God. I had things happen in my past as a kid that really made me question religion, I guess, in general.
Sure.
And seeing the little girl I was getting back from Covenant every day that I was dropping off, I started a search just before all of this to connect with God and my higher power.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it mean? And how will I be able to connect with my daughter and have a conversation about the things they're teaching her if I don't take the time to go and learn? So luckily, I had started that before that day. But when I was in the sanctuary and Mary was crumbling, I had a different experience. My experience was with all the other people around us, how calm and how present they were. And for the first time in my life, I experienced a relationship with God in person. So it was, this is what it means to have faith. No matter what everybody around us is about to find out, they understand that everything's going to be okay. It's not something I ever knew before that moment. I saw faith.
Yeah.
And I walked away from that going, that's what I need. I need to understand that something has got us. Getting her back made me realize that something had her, something bigger than I could explain or understand, had my daughter wrapped in his arms. And so for me as a dad, what I now realize is I'm not in control, Isiah. I don't have the ability to protect and keep her safe, but I do have the ability to have faith and teach her that somebody has her, and no matter what, if she believes in that and she believes in the goodness that surrounds us, that she's going to be okay no matter what. And so for me, I think the last 2 years has really helped me dig deeper into an understanding of my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, just everything about the way that I was or wasn't showing up as a father, good and bad, has been a front focus for me, and Bible studies, connecting with the covenant dads and that community is something we've been blessed with because of this. Most of these mass shootings, movie theaters, public schools, grocery stores, they don't know each other as well as we do at Covenant. They don't come together regularly the way we do. And so we actually had an ability to come back together and heal together. So these last 2 years have not been alone. So I can't imagine, I can't imagine having had experienced this in the chaos of a mall and not being able to connect with somebody who had experienced it alongside of me and going, man, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Because that is something we have just absolutely been able to do and help probably heal faster. But at the same time, it's the rest of our lives we'll be healing from this.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I love to hear, to tell people, like, this is a long life journey. You know what I'm saying, to that, because literally your life changed within minutes, you know what I'm saying, of that shooting, because your daughter changed. And then that affects your life because you're having to, go through this with her. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thank you so much for watching thus far. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get back to the show. But even on that journey, I always like to ask this question, like, where does forgiveness, if forgiveness is in this? Because you have this girl who basically took a life. Like, she didn't literally take her life, but she took her life, that the innocence from Monroe, you know what I'm saying? And from all the rest of the kids in that classroom, like, where does forgiveness play a part in this, if there's or if there's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, where does that play?
Oh, such a hard question.
I love it.
I will say I still find myself angry at the disruption that day had on our child, on our family, on our businesses, on friendships, on our relationship, on everything, on our community, and then all the things that I just said of every single person at Covenant. And it's what we don't really talk about, right? Is the disruption, the negative disruption. And it just is like a wave, and it just keeps going, and it doesn't ever stop. And I have worked really hard to think of, well, what else was lost? And her parents lost their child. And that makes me sad. As a mother, I was devastated to think that Monroe was gone. And her parents lost a child too. And so that's where I can bridge that gap of, okay, there's another family behind her too. And I think about them losing their child, but I'm still really, really angry at what she took down with her.
The truth is, it's hard, but for me, leaning into the gratitude, getting Monroe back versus anger of the event
Yeah.
helped pretty quickly. But it's not her fault that handguns are able to be put in the hands of mentally ill people in Tennessee. And so do you go and hate everybody who's voted against the right thing to do? No. So I don't think anger or hatred helps. I think decisive action and commitment to changing the landscape. We're not handgun people or gun people. We're not anti-gun people. We actually didn't really think about it too much, honestly. It's obviously an issue, but then as soon as it happens, you're like, well, wait a minute, where do I stand on this? Where I stand on the side of safety and common sense. That to me doesn't seem to be a part of the argument for the people who are taking every opportunity to expand that movement towards completely free possession and ownership and concealment of weapons. So for me, I say, look, let's all come together to have the conversation to protect our country, protect our communities, protect our children. But there's no room for, vengeance or anger or hatred in that conversation. We have to figure out a way to come together.
So because I do feel, we've grieved very differently. I crumbled for 6 months, 8 months, and I couldn't figure out how to. I had to turn something to be productive. I had to feel productive and turn this rage and this frustration and this anger and all the things, all the negative emotions, I had to turn it into some kind of purpose. So my way of coping was to channel all of that into driving change. And our governor, as you know, or if you remember, right after Covenant, called a special session.
Covenant school parents who came into this session hoping at least to get a safe gun storage bill passed are disappointed with how little lawmakers actually accomplished. They say their kids are still afraid to go to school.
And that then pulls all legislators back to the Capitol to have a special session, meaning it's an out of order
For sure.
work time.
Absolutely.
It also pulls them away from vacations, campaigning times, and all the things that they want to do off season. And so if you understand why it was called, and with guns, we have learned there are two sides. You're either for them or you're against them.
Sure.
And there's no in between, at least what we hear, right? We just hear both sides. And so if that's why the session was called, it was really, we feel that Covenant, the shooting at our school, punted the ball to call this special session, like, hey, we got to do something.
Right.
We have to act, right? We're in the capital of our state, let's do something. And so during that special session, myself and a larger group of moms and some dads said, well, we need to go take meetings with our lawmakers and pass some laws because we surely need to prevent this from happening again in our state. And we learned through that process, first of all, that we are up against something much bigger than just taking a meeting and getting some stuff done, which seems very logical from a mom's perspective and a business person perspective. We sell houses for a living, we negotiate for a living, we find win-wins in scenarios, and then we come to the closing table, and that's it. We're done.
Yeah, right.
And you can relate to that.
I can.
So that's what we do. And so I thought that's what we were going to do. I thought, we'll go to the special session, we'll go downtown, we'll take some meetings, we'll talk to some lawmakers, we'll share our stories. We live in a very affluent area that has impact on those legislators and their careers.
Absolutely.
And we can bring voters, right, and influence. So surely they'll listen to us. And boy, were we wrong. And we learned some things very quickly, that our voices as women were not necessarily taken seriously.
Why?
because we were women and we are in a southern state and there are some unspoken rules about our value and our presence. And we were faced with comments like, someone told another mom, wow, you're really well spoken for a woman. Another person said to me, does your husband know you're there? And then we had another lawmaker, a freshman senator, say, well, we've got all the Nashville hot moms in our gallery, when he didn't realize his mic was hot. And so it really diminishes your value as a constituent.
Right.
And really makes you either fired up or makes you feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it did a little bit of both to all of us. And I will say that we were approaching our meetings and our advocacy, we just wanted to pass some safer laws.
Exactly.
To prevent a crazy person from getting access to a gun.
Right.
And to me and every parent across the
It's logical.
planet, that seems so logical.
Yeah.
But we're in a completely different ball game, and I've now been advocating for 2.5 years. And it's like pushing a boulder up a mountain, especially in Tennessee, because we are a supermajority, which means most of the legislature is made up of one party. In this case, it's the Republican Party. I grew up Republican. My whole family's Republican. I will say I lean more moderate.
Yeah.
But after this, I think that our Second Amendment rights and gun safety can coexist.
For sure.
And so that's my goal, is to bring those two together and to find some logical, I don't want to say logical,
Sure.
to imply that people are not logical.
Yeah.
I think that we can find some common ground that keeps people safe and still doesn't feel like we're taking away that. It doesn't mean that all guns are going away.
Right.
If you just implement a safety law, just like wearing a seatbelt.
Right.
That makes you safer while driving. It
But
doesn't take away your right to drive.
The other thing is, though, that their answer is prisons for these children to go to school in with guards and guns. And it's like, wait a minute, that is not... I personally, and while she was advocating and fighting for, some change or just something, it was frustrating that nobody would listen. And it's not that they won't listen, it's just that the money is too much to battle. A voice is a voice, but a dollar goes a long way in these political circles.
From entities that want.
That's right. And they don't need to be named. Everybody knows who they are.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's frustrating that the good old boys club, which is, primarily the makeup of the entirety of the legislature here in Tennessee. And it is what it is. I'm not name calling or saying anything. It's a shame they won't take the time to listen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like our city, Nashville especially, has done such a great job of modernizing a sleepy, slow southern town into this incredible growth and what we're becoming together.
Yeah.
And throughout the state, sometimes that's looked at as a negative. And I think if they could just turn their eyes towards really seeing that red and blue can coexist, that conversations can happen, because politics to me isn't a massive part of Nashville everyday life.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be.
No.
Yes, we have, open and honest conversations, but red and blue, right and left, I don't come across it that much, but we were forced into it. And when we were to be shut down the way we were, that's what's disappointing. That's
We didn't
what's
even get to that part.
frustrating. But I mean, that's where we were headed. It's like they
Shut down how?
So
They did nothing.
So back to special session.
They did absolutely nothing. Yeah.
So back in special session. So we get through the entire special session, and there, of course, are things happening behind the scenes. But we met with over 60 lawmakers that summer leading up between Covenant shooting and the launch of special session. We met with a ton of lawmakers, sharing our stories and urging them for certain laws that we were supporting. And through special session, they all of a sudden said, I think the term, it's a Latin term, sine die, or I'm butchering that.
Sure.
It means done. No resolution. We're done. We're ending this. Everyone leave. So this whole time we have spent away from our families, away from our jobs, trying to turn our story into something productive.
Yeah.
Downtown, not even 10 minutes from our homes, and nothing happens. And I had to go home to Monroe, who knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And she said, "Mommy, what did you guys do?" And I said, "Nothing." They didn't care. And your story wasn't enough. And it didn't matter. And that was devastating. And so it didn't stop us though. But it did teach us a lesson that A, we have a lot more work to do. B, there is a lot of stuff that's gone unchecked, and people aren't paying attention to what's happening locally and how it affects us and how it trickles into every single community. And the things that are happening downtown doesn't mean that it's just happening for Nashville. It means it has to make sense for the entire state. And what does that look like? And so now we have to really understand, okay, well, what's happening in Knoxville or Chattanooga or Hohenwald? Like, that could be laws that are passed that are also going to impact our schools here. And so we're scrappy, but we are self-taught. And we had some really incredible people that just volunteered their time and came into our world to help guide us through this whole legislative process and helped us be more efficient and smarter. So in 2024, we were able to help impact 4 pieces of legislation to be passed. Now, not around gun safety, but little nuggets that will help push that boulder up the mountain.
Like what? For people who don't know, like what was like?
Well, something that
overview.
Definitely came from Covenant, and this was largely driven by the families that lost their kids. Our friends. Was the fire alarm bill, and it changes the protocol for how we treat fire alarms in schools. And this is a bill I'm very proud of the work they were courageously able to do and that we were able to be a part of. I read testimonies of them in committee meetings, and so we passed a bill that changes the way. So now so the typical protocol in schools across Tennessee is that children exit the classroom and the teacher stays behind in the classroom to sweep the classroom, right, to make sure all children are out, and then the teacher leaves. Now, why that's not great in our current environment of mass shootings is, in the case of Covenant, it put the children unattended in the hallway, and the shooter came up and intersected them and started shooting. And there was no way for a 9-year-old to understand what's happening
and
what to do. Because their safe adult is back in the classroom. The teachers did everything that they could to get those kids back to safety as quickly as possible. But that's a bill that we changed, and I'm proud of that. So
and I'm glad to hear that something has been done, because like you would think, and I think the saying goes true, is like, until it happens to them, nothing changes.
That's right.
Because if it was their child or their grandson or grandchild or something, like they would be really pushing for this. But you would think that these are people's kids. Like, we need to do something, but you didn't do anything. So that's the frustrating part about that.
I think it feels so there was a bill that was introduced last year. And it feels actually in 2024, what are we, 2025? And it was arming teachers bill. And it was introduced, but then it was tabled in 2023, given what happened at our school, if that tells you anything. And then it was reintroduced, and it passed. in 2024. And it was reintroduced and passed through committee like the week of our anniversary, of our year anniversary. So we weren't at the Capitol that week. We were grieving and coming together as a community. And then we hear that this is just flying through committee and it's most likely going to pass. And I remember we took a meeting with the governor's office. They said, if you don't let it pass, it could get worse. And what they mean is, and this is what happens, sometimes bills, when they have more time to be worked, they could have more time to be worked and more stuff could be added
into it.
That could be, that you could not like even more. And so they were saying, like, let it go. And it makes me so angry because we know how nervous and terrified our teacher was. She couldn't even get a Velcro strap down. And so how on earth does it make sense to say, hey, by the way, also go grab your gun and also keep your children in their classroom safe and quiet and then go approach the shooter.
Right.
And then the second argument, which is something that I've already spoken about, is most likely they're gonna have a handgun. And what is a shooter that comes into a school gonna have?
AR-15.
Is that a fair fight?
No, that's a scissors too.
They will be gone in seconds.
Yeah.
And now you have a teacher that has now said, make me a target. A shooter who is now fired up even more. And now you have an unattended classroom of children. And so we tried to urge them to push it to later so that we could add a line that says a teacher without direct classroom experience, right? Because what we did learn is this is a law that would cover the entire state. This law could be designed for a small town that maybe doesn't have the capacity to hire an SRO, a security resource officer. So maybe it makes sense that a teacher at that school does have to carry because they don't have another option.
Or have force response the way we did, where the police were there so fast.
Right.
So certain things about it make sense.
But the bill included language that said no parent would know if your child's teacher was carrying, that no fellow teacher would know which of their colleagues was carrying. And we felt the risk was so much higher. What if a high schooler kids are huge.
Right.
Some teachers are not.
Right.
And gets a hold of her handbag or of a drawer or of his pocket and grabs it.
Yeah.
And now what are you gonna do? And so I'm proud to announce that not a single school district in Tennessee opted in to allow their teachers to carry, even with that. And that I do feel is from the social media pressure of us and our community saying, I mean, we said, okay, we couldn't stop it, and that's devastating, but how can we impact it from not being implemented? And we put on pressure on social media, and I think it worked. And so the lesson that I want to share with other parents is, I hope this never happens to your child. And we don't want this to happen to anyone else. But your voice does matter, and it is important. And it takes you and finding other like-minded people who care about an issue. You don't have to agree on everything. But if you care about a single issue, you can make an impact if you stay laser focused. And I've expanded that with another Covenant mom to DC because there are some things at the federal level that we've got to fix. So.
Jeez. Hey, thank you so much for watching the show thus far. Y'all, go get my new book, Little Me, I Will Live Now, because this is why this show is here. Why? Because God has put a dream in you. God has put a purpose in you, and it is time to wake it up. Y'all, in this book, it's going to teach you everything that you need. So go get it right now and join the community. You won't be disappointed. All right, let's get back to the show. Because, like, I mean, sometimes we don't want to feel helpless. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, like, people are empowered to be able to change these things and they don't. Yeah. So, like, for you, Aaron, and you, Mary, it's like, people like me, people who are watching, it's like, what can we do? Like, you know, like, y'all are my friends, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when I saw that y'all went through this, I felt helpless. Because Lord, I want to give you all y'all space to be able to process this. But I'm just like, what do we do in this situation? And then, like, what can we do for our voices? Like, what's the solution and how can we help?
Mm-hmm. I think that the first thing people need to understand is that we're a lot more closely aligned as a nation or a county or a state than they make us realize we are. Yeah. The noise is meant to distract and kind of focus us on our differences, but the truth is, as Americans, we are all pretty much in agreement on some basic fundamental principles of safety and common respect. Yeah. And for whatever reason, somehow that's turned itself on its ear in the last 10, 15 years. Yeah. And now the focus is on how are we different and how do we disrespect each other. Mm-hmm. And I think if we can understand that opening up those conversations in a way that's respectful and curious and bringing people just to tables, whether it's dinner with friends and neighbors and a serious conversation around something that you don't understand, or if it's a community-wide conversation, people want to be engaged in that. And I think it's not that we're helpless, it's that they don't think that we're smart or able enough to bring those conversations together. And, you know, it takes one conversation at a time. It takes one podcast at a time, one social media post at a time. But we will get there. Yeah. And, you know, I think obviously, however long it started, really, I know Columbine's probably the first one I really remember, but it's happening so much that I just don't think we want this in our society, in our lives anymore. And so those conversations will get louder and more connected, and kids don't want it. So when they grow up and they take over, you know, but that just takes time. Like Mary said, I don't think she realized how long it was going to take, because it happened here, and the governor's wife's best friend got killed that day. She was the substitute. And that still didn't help impact it. And I think, you know, over the next 10 to 15, 20 years, that's how long it's going to take for the change slowly to be implemented and start to really feel like something's happening. But it's one conversation at a time. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is why I'm happy to be able to provide this, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, one, people needed to hear your story and the impact that it has had on your daughter. I mean, you have a son as well. It's like his life is impacted because everybody, his sister's no longer the sister that he kind of knew. And as much normalcy as, and then you all as parents, but you all as a married couple, you know, so all of the stresses, like, I just feel like people needed to hear, like, the truth behind how mass shootings can affect, you know, like, I want to ask this question because, like, some of those people were your best friends. It's like, how are they doing?
This is a tricky one, I think.
So, as moms, I'm just going to use the moms. Yeah. As moms, we are the protectors of the heart of our home, and in the community, right? Like, we're the ones that, if I have a friend's kids, those are my kids. I'm gonna look out for them and make sure they're happy. I'm gonna make sure they're okay. If they get hurt, I'm gonna be there. And we celebrate those kids, right? Like, so there were 24 third graders. There were 17 girls and 7 boys. And most of them had been in kindergarten together. COVID was weird, but it brought other students back to Covenant. And so nonetheless, that group of students was very close. Yeah. They sometimes fought like sisters and mostly sisters because it was mainly
Lots
girls.
of girls, yeah.
But like siblings. And so you started to see in third grade, you really started to see those personalities budding and seeing how it was just such a beautiful class and their relationships. And I will say that's like Covenant as a whole community. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you befriend the moms in your class, and your bridge and your connection are your children.
Yeah.
And when those children are removed, where's the glue? And so there is a piece of you that feels the survivor's guilt, like my kid is still here, but yours isn't. And it feels like your glue is gone.
Yeah.
What does that relationship look like go forward? How do you rebuild that? Because they're grieving their child, and the glue that bridged them to you is gone.
Yeah.
And so it's been really tricky. And so there's this loss of friendship and loss of those sweet little people that bridged you together. And I will say, like, our friendships are different.
Yeah.
And I am sad about that because these moms are incredible women. And their children were amazing.
Yeah.
And that makes me really sad. So
Yeah. No, I get it. That's hard. You know what I'm saying? Because their lives aren't the same. In a way, y'all's lives are not the same. So
Yeah.
I totally get that. Like,
and they're all grieving in different ways. And so 2 of the moms of the 3 children that were killed, murdered, not killed, murdered, were advocating. One more behind the scenes, another was forward facing, and their strength of telling their story and moving forward, and making sense and making meaning of their child being lost
yeah.
is and making it bigger than them. Like, that had to be for something, right? And we're just here and God's using us, right?
Yeah, purpose,
so
yeah.
what is it for?
Yeah.
It's been incredible. It's been an honor to watch.
Yeah. Any last things you all want to say to the people out there, that any more ways to help, any parting words, any words of encouragement, or just anything? Like, what would you all say?
We have to build a new school.
Yeah.
So
We
Okay.
finally have the land.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 acres. So there's a new school being built.
Okay.
K through 6, the Covenant School, and that just started. We just got that under contract recently. So
Yeah.
that's we're hopeful that our son will be one of the first, if not the first, graduating class, because he's a second grader this year.
Okay.
And then Ro, she'll be finishing up a Covenant this year. But people, if you can help us, fund this next phase, I'd say that's a big ask. But at the same time, community-wide, nationwide, worldwide, we are coming together to continue the message that school and Dr. Kuntz started, because it's an incredible place for children to be seen,
to be known,
to be loved. It's once again, it's taking our daughter to that school changed me for the better, even before I understood that all of this was coming. And keeping her there has helped us put the pieces of this and our lives back together in a way that just wouldn't have been possible without it.
Yeah.
And I think the children too needed each other because they're very close, and now they are forever bonded.
Yeah.
And so to go through these last 2 years without each other, I can't imagine that they would be as I don't want to say as good as they are, but it has really helped them to stay stronger. They don't have to explain why they start crying in the middle of the day because someone is pounding a bag of peas downstairs in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
And so to have that support system with each other has been really important.
Yeah.
and what Covenant does to these kids to prepare them for their next school and for life in general. And it is very special, and we believe in what they're trying to do and what they are doing. And our kids went back to that campus. And there were still signs of the shooting there.
Yeah.
And some kids couldn't handle it and they had to leave. And we chose to go back because we didn't want to send her away to a school where she was then the Covenant kid. And they didn't have the same safety protocols. And we really struggled with that. Of what to do next. What are we supposed to do? But this new school will be good for everybody. For the school, it gives them more room to expand and grow, and in a completely state-of-the-art, probably one of the securest schools in the country. And so we have an opportunity to be a model for what schools can be without to be built like a fortress, but not look like a fortress.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we are going to do with this new location. And we look forward to bringing the community together again, but for something a little bit different.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for
having
having
me.
us.
Oh, for sure.
You're the best.
Oh, y'all are the best. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And we're praying for you.
Thank you.
And wishing nothing but the best and nothing but peace going forward. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Isiah.
Absolutely. Y'all, what a story. But there's action to be taken. There's a new school being built and we need to help. So we'll post a link in the description. Be sure to go support because these kids need a safe haven. But even more so, kids need a safe haven around the world, in the United States. And prayerfully, this story will push us to use our voice to be able to affect change. So I love you. Be sure to watch the next episode and we'll see you next time on the I Live Now show.